Women prefer guys who are not interested in them. Stop showing interest in her. Psychology tricks. Let there be spaces in your togetherness. Khalil Gibran. Stop over-pursuing. If you're texting all day, performing to win approval, or reshaping your life so she'll notice you, you're not building attraction. You're broadcasting neediness. Here's the uncomfortable truth. People rarely chase what's already chasing them. When you're always available and eager, you remove the mystery, the tension, and the signal that you value your own time. Attention that costs nothing is valued the same. This isn't about manipulation or tricks. It's psychology one of a kind. Scarcity beats saturation. Constant contact dulls interest. Measured availability invites curiosity. Self-respect reads as confidence. A man with boundaries is more compelling than a man begging for a response. Choice is attractive. When your life is full, you're not auditioning, you're inviting. If you've noticed the pattern, more chasing, less response, take this as your reset. Slow your pace. Match her investment. If she sends one message, you don't need 5. Keep your calendar. Prioritize your work, workouts, friends, and sleep. A full life is magnetic. Be warm, not overeager. Clear, concise messages, constant check-ins. Hold your frame. Disagreement isn't danger. Have opinions. Lead plans. Detach from outcomes. Interest doesn't mean entitlement. If it's not mutual, step back gracefully. Attraction grows in the space where confidence and curiosity meet. Stop proving. Start living. When you respect your time, the right woman will, too. 1. Men misunderstand what women really want. Most men have it backward when it comes to understanding what truly draws a woman in. They think that the more attention they pour out, the more affection they'll receive in return. They believe that gifts, compliments, and constant messages somehow equal love, but in reality, this approach backfires. Every time you chase too hard, every time you bend over backward to please her, you're waving a giant red flag that screams, "I need you to like me." And that, my friend, is the fastest way to drain attraction dry. Here's the truth. Women are instinctively wired to respond to confidence, independence, and mystery. It's not manipulation. It's female psychology in motion. Women are fascinated by men who have purpose, who don't orbit around them, who can walk away without a second thought. That calm self-assurance is magnetic. It's one of those timeless psychology tricks that never fail. When a man appears slightly out of reach, slightly unpredictable, a woman's curiosity kicks in. She starts wondering what makes him so secure, what makes him so different from the rest who keep begging for attention. That's how to fall in love, not by chasing, but by standing still while she moves closer to figure you out. Now, don't get it twisted. This doesn't mean you should be rude, dismissive, or fake aloofness just to play some silly game. That's not strength, that's insecurity in disguise. The real power comes from self-respect, from knowing your worth so deeply that you don't feel the need to prove it to anyone. Be kind, but don't be a pushover. Be available, but not on demand. Be a man with a full life, ambitions, hobbies, goals, so that your world doesn't shrink to fit inside someone else's. Women don't fall for men who revolve around them. They fall for men who revolve around something bigger. That is the secret code hidden in female psychology. When she senses that your happiness doesn't depend on her attention, she starts to value it more. It's a paradox. The less you try to impress, the more impressive you become. Think about it. The man who is constantly texting, chasing, or showering her with affection loses his mystery. There's no tension, no excitement, no challenge. But the man who occasionally pulls back, who focuses on his path, who isn't afraid of silence, that's the man who keeps her intrigued. You must understand that attraction is not built on availability. It's built on contrast. When you stop showing constant interest, you create space for her imagination to work. And that space is where desire grows. It's not cruelty, it's control. It's one of the most subtle yet powerful psychology tricks you can master. So, stop overinvesting. Stop handing out your attention like candy. Let her wonder about you. Let her earn your focus. Don't chase, attract. Don't seek, become. That's how to fall in love the right way without losing yourself in the process. The man who doesn't need her approval is the one who ends up with her admiration. Remember that confidence, not desperation, is the language women understand best. Master that, and you'll no longer be the one doing the chasing, she will. 2. Neediness, the enemy of attraction. Here's the harsh truth, gentlemen, and it stings. The less a woman sees you chasing her, the more she starts to wonder about you. Her curiosity wakes up. Suddenly, you're no longer another guy sending heart emojis or begging for attention. You're a mystery. Her mind starts spinning questions. Why isn't he texting me all the time? Why doesn't he need my attention to be happy? And that curiosity? That's the first flicker of attraction. Don't underestimate it. Curiosity is oxygen to desire. When she can't figure you out, she starts thinking about you. That's when the magic begins. Now, I can already hear the voice in your head, but if I don't show her interest, won't she think I don't care? Stop right there. That's the trap. That's the quicksand of neediness that swallows good men whole. See, there's a massive difference between showing interest and begging for validation. Showing interest is quiet confidence. It's the calm of a man who knows his worth, a high-value man. Neediness, on the other hand, is loud, anxious, and desperate. It's the energy of someone saying, "Please like me, please choose me." And women feel that energy instantly. They don't analyze it, they sense it. It's not what you say, it's what your masculine energy communicates. The confident man attracts. The needy man repels. It's not cruel, it's biology. A woman is drawn to strength, independence, and emotional control. A man who's constantly texting, chasing, checking her stories every 5 minutes, that man screams, "I don't have a life without you." And guess what? That's not attractive. You must be the man who has a life, a full one. Purpose, passion, friends, work, hobbies, goals. That's what radiates masculine energy. Be the man she wonders about, not the one she manages. Society told you to go all in, to chase her, to win her over, to prove your love with constant effort. But here's the irony. The more you chase, the faster she runs. Attraction doesn't grow in the soil of constant availability. It grows in the space between moments, in the quiet confidence of a man who knows he doesn't have to prove his worth. You don't attract women by orbiting around them. You attract them by standing tall in your own world and inviting them into it when it feels right. So stop trying to impress her. Start impressing yourself. Think about this for a moment. Who do you notice first in a room? The guy bouncing from group to group, desperate for attention, or the man leaning back, calm, grounded, laughing quietly with a few people, not performing, just existing with ease? Exactly. That's the high-value man. The one who doesn't need validation because he already owns his self-worth. When you pull back, not as a game, but because you genuinely respect your own time, something amazing happens. She starts to lean in. She starts wondering where your attention went. And that's when attraction flips. You become the challenge, the prize, the man who's not easily available because you're busy living your best life. A man who is always available loses value in her eyes. It's not about playing hard to get. It's about being hard to get because your time, your focus, your energy, they're precious. Attraction isn't built on chasing. It's built on independence, mystery, and challenge. So don't be the man who waits by the phone. Be the man whose phone is lighting up because he's too busy being. Be steady. Be confident. Be that high-value man who attracts women naturally, not by force. Because when you embody that calm, centered masculine energy, you stop needing her approval and start commanding her respect. And that, my friend, is the moment she truly starts to see you. If you found this message eye-opening, give it a like and share it with a friend who needs to hear it today. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. And don't forget to subscribe for more mindset and psychology insights that help you level up in life and relationships. Speech balloon comment to remember. I attract through confidence, not neediness. 3. The power of restraint. Don't chase. Don't beg. Don't prove your worth to anyone. That is the essence of true masculine control, the power of restraint. In a world where everyone is screaming for attention, the man who stays silent commands the room. This isn't about manipulation. It's not about playing games. It's about embodying Old Stoic wisdom, the art of mastering your emotions instead of being mastered by them. He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior, said Confucius, and that truth stands immortal. When you stop trying to win her approval, you stop losing yourself. You stop being the man she takes for granted. You start becoming the man she can't stop thinking about. Because women, deep down, are drawn to men who don't need them to feel whole. They sense it, the iron mind, the unshakable calm, the grounded energy that says, I'm good with or without you. That confidence is magnetic. It's rare. It's dangerous in the best way. Let's get one thing straight. Restraint isn't weakness. It's power disguised as peace. It's the quiet confidence of a man who doesn't move unless he chooses to. When you show restraint, you communicate your value without saying a word. You tell her that your time, your attention, your energy, they're earned, not given away freely. That's Stoicism when in action. The ability to stay composed while the world tries to pull you in every direction. The less you chase, the more she wonders. The less you text, the more she checks her phone. The less you react, the more she feels your presence. The mystery drives her curiosity, and curiosity is the seed of attraction. You see, tension is built in the space between your words and your actions. It's built in silence, in stillness, in the moments you could have reached out but didn't. In modern life, where instant gratification rules and men are pressured to constantly perform, restraint becomes your superpower. It's rebellion against emotional chaos. It's strength over impulse. When you hold your line, you stand out from the weak and the needy. You become the man with the iron mind, the one who doesn't flinch, doesn't chase, doesn't crumble. That's the man who wins. Self-control is strength. Right thought is mastery. Calmness is power, wrote James Allen, and that's the blueprint. The man who learns this truth owns his destiny. Don't fall for the trap of overexposure. Don't give her the thrill of knowing she's got you. Let her earn that. Let her feel your absence. Let her wonder what you're focused on when it's not her. Because the moment she realizes your happiness doesn't depend on her, you become 10 times more attractive. Let's be clear, this is not cruelty. It's discipline. It's self-respect. It's the old Stoic wisdom that says, the more you need, the less power you have. You must learn to hold your emotions like a sword, steady, controlled, ready, but never reckless. The man who can desire without desperation wins. The man who can walk away at any moment is untouchable. That's Stoicism win, the ultimate masculine victory. In a world full of weak men trying too hard, be the one who doesn't. In a world of noise, be the silence that commands attention. Don't text her all the time. Don't explain yourself endlessly. Don't seek validation. Every time you do, you lower your value. Every time you resist, you rise. Remember, women are emotional creatures. They're drawn to strength, not submission. When you remain calm and centered, she feels it. When you stay in control, she respects it. When you move with purpose, she follows your lead. That's the way nature wired attraction. You must reclaim your edge. Restraint isn't about ignoring her. It's about knowing that your energy is sacred. You decide who gets access. You decide when to give and when to hold back. That's the iron mind at work. That's how Stoicism wins. Don't let fleeting emotions dictate your actions. Don't let temporary desires ruin your long-term dominance. Restraint builds anticipation. Anticipation builds power. And power, quiet, disciplined, controlled power, is irresistible. So remember this. Stop trying to impress her. Stop trying to make her like you. Focus on becoming unshakable. Master your emotions. Master your silence. Master your energy. That is the victory of restraint. That is old Stoic wisdom. That is the iron mind. And that, gentlemen, is how Stoicism wins. 4. Smart interest versus desperate attention. There's a fine line between showing smart interest and begging for desperate attention, and most men trip right over it without realizing. Smart interest is quiet confidence. It's the calm in the storm. It's that steady energy that says, I know my worth. You show it without chasing. You offer it without demanding. You lean in slightly, but never lose your balance. That's the art of controlled interest, a powerful move straight out of the psychology tricks that women secretly respond to, even if they don't admit it. Because in female psychology, what truly captures her attention isn't the man who declares, "I'll do anything for you," but the man whose presence already says, "I'm doing just fine with or without you." Desperate attention, though, is the opposite. It's the noise in the silence. It's panic dressed up as effort. You text too much, you compliment too fast, you wait by the phone like a puppy in emotional handcuffs. That's not love, it's fear. Fear of losing her. Fear of being forgotten. Fear that if you don't keep proving yourself, you'll vanish from her mind. But that fear doesn't pull her closer. It pushes her away. Because here's the truth. Nothing turns a woman off faster than sensing that you need her approval to feel valuable. Desperation doesn't say, "I like you." It screams, "I'm empty." And no woman wants to be someone's emotional rescue mission. Confidence, on the other hand, whispers. It doesn't need to shout. It doesn't need to prove. It simply is. Confidence says, "I choose you," not "I need you." That's a world of difference, and that difference is everything. It's the invisible switch that flips attraction on or off. Society has lied to men for decades, teaching them that chasing harder equals caring more. That sending another text, another emoji, another "good morning, beautiful" proves devotion. But here's the secret those old scripts forgot to mention. Chasing kills attraction. Why? Because the moment you start chasing, you stop leading. You shift the energy from power to pursuit, from choice to chase, and she feels it instantly. Stop chasing. Start living. Be the man who's too busy becoming his best self to constantly prove his worth. That's the real magnetism. When you pull your energy back into your own life, your goals, your passions, your peace, something fascinating happens. She notices. She feels your absence not as neglect, but as strength. It's one of those subtle psychology tricks of attraction that never fails. When you stop trying to convince her, she starts wondering what makes you so unbothered. And curiosity, my friend, is the first spark of how to fall in love. Ask yourself this. In any room, who draws your eyes first? The guy talking too loud, trying to be seen, or the one who moves with quiet certainty, laughing to himself, fully engaged in his own world? Exactly. Confidence doesn't chase, it radiates. It doesn't seek attention, it commands it. That's how female psychology works. Women are drawn to emotional stability like bees to honey. They sense when a man is centered. They feel when he's self-assured. That's the man who becomes irresistible without even trying. So don't be the man who texts 12 times hoping she'll reply. Be the man who's too focused on his next move, his next win, his own peace of mind. Respect your time. Respect your energy. Respect your emotions. Because when you value yourself, she'll start valuing you too. That's not arrogance, it's awareness. That's not indifference, it's control. And that control is magnetic. It's what separates boys seeking attention from men who command attraction. Here's the final truth most men never learn. A woman doesn't fall for the man who wants her the most. She falls for the man who doesn't need her the most. That paradox is where attraction lives. That's where every real love story begins, not with desperation, but with composure. Don't chase. Don't plead. Be. Be the calm, the choice, the man who moves with purpose. That's how to fall in love without ever losing yourself. If this message hit home, like, share, and subscribe for more real psychology truths about attraction. Drop this in the comments to lock it in your mind. Confidence attracts. Neediness repels. 5. The psychology of female attraction. Women don't fall for men who orbit around them like satellites. They fall for men who have their own gravity, men with purpose, direction, and a life that doesn't revolve around any single woman. A high-value man doesn't chase validation. He attracts it. That's right. Women prefer guys who are not interested in them. Why? Because interest shown too soon, too eagerly, kills the mystery. And without mystery, attraction dies quietly, like a candle deprived of air. The thrill of the unknown. Attraction thrives on tension, that delicious uncertainty that keeps her wondering what's next. When she can't predict you, when you're not an open book, her mind starts spinning stories about who you are. That curiosity is your ally. Think about it. The people who fascinate you the most aren't the ones who pour their entire life story into your lap on the first meeting. They're the ones who reveal little pieces, fragments that invite imagination. The same law applies to romance. Don't hand out your attention like free samples at a grocery store. Be selective. Be deliberate. Be unpredictable. When a woman feels like she has to earn your time, she values it. When she knows she already has it, she loses interest. That's the irony most men miss. The more you try to please her, the less she values you. The more you pull back and focus on your mission, the more she leans in. The paradox of attention. Here's a hard truth. The more available you are, the less attractive you become. It sounds cruel, but it's psychological. Constant availability sends one message: you have nothing better to do. A man who's always there, always responding, always trying, he's predictable. Predictability is safe, but it's not exciting. It's not masculine. Masculine energy thrives in independence, not dependency. When you're too eager, you rob her of the emotional thrill of pursuit. You deny her the experience of earning your attention. That's not confidence. That's desperation dressed in politeness. So stop flooding her with calls, texts, and attention. Let her wonder what you're up to. Let her feel that tiny gap between messages. That silence? It's not rejection. It's magnetism. Mystery isn't manipulation. Now, don't confuse mystery with games. You're not pretending to be someone else. You're simply refusing to hand over your entire essence too quickly. A high-value man isn't hiding, he's just not performing. He has boundaries. He's busy building, living, achieving. He doesn't stop his life to prove his worth. His worth is already evident in his actions. And women notice that. They can sense when a man's attention is scarce, not because he's playing hard to get, but because he's genuinely engaged with his purpose. That's the essence of masculine energy: calm, focused, directed. The power of distance. She needs to feel a little tension, that space where she wonders, does he like me? What's he thinking? When will I see him again? That mental space keeps her engaged. When you always show up, there's nothing left to anticipate. When you disappear for a bit, not ghosting, but living, her imagination fills the gap. And imagination is where attraction grows wild. Distance creates desire. Absence breeds curiosity. A woman doesn't crave what she already owns. She craves what she can almost have. That's the dance of attraction. Be the prize, not the pursuer. Stop trying to win her over. Instead, become someone worth winning. Be the man whose presence has weight, whose absence is felt, whose time isn't given, it's earned. That's how you attract women without chasing them. That's how you stand out from the crowd of men desperate for attention. So remember this: don't overgive. Don't overexplain. Don't overstay. Be confident enough to pull back. Be secure enough to say no. Be mysterious enough to keep her guessing. That is how attraction works. That is how you embody masculine energy. That is how you become a high-value man, not by chasing, but by becoming the man she can't stop thinking about. 6. Independence, the foundation of real attraction. Listen carefully. Women are drawn to men who don't chase, who don't beg, who don't crumble under emotional pressure. A confident man doesn't prove his worth, he embodies it. His actions speak louder than any desperate words. He knows his value because it's rooted deep in self-mastery, discipline, and purpose. That's Old Stoic wisdom, the same mindset that shaped warriors, kings, and philosophers. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That is the essence of Stoicism win, mastering yourself, not seeking validation from others. When you stop trying to impress her, you become impressive. When you stop trying to get her attention, you become the man who commands it naturally. Independence is magnetic. It says without words, I am whole. I am complete. You can join my journey, but you cannot define it. That is power. That is the energy that separates the man who leads from the man who follows. Don't misunderstand. It's not arrogance. It's balance. It's knowing that your happiness, your peace, and your mission come before anyone's approval. The man who lives with purpose doesn't beg for validation because he generates it from within. He's too focused on building his empire, refining his body, and sharpening his iron mind. That's the Stoicism win. Women sense that strength. They feel the weight of your composure, the calmness in your silence, the steadiness in your gaze. They test you, consciously or not, to see if you'll bend. Don't bend. Don't chase. Don't break character. That is the difference between a man who needs her and a man who chooses her. Remember, attraction isn't about pursuit, it's about gravity. You pull her in by being grounded, centered, unshaken. In today's world, where men scroll for approval and chase digital attention, you must rise above the noise. The modern man who lives by old Stoic wisdom becomes rare, almost mythical. He doesn't waste his days proving, posting, or pleading. He works. He grows. He wins silently. That silence is louder than any pickup line. That quiet focus screams dominance. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Be that man. Control your emotions, and you control your destiny. You must understand, independence isn't detachment, it's strength. It's knowing you can walk away and still be whole. When you're busy living with direction, nurturing brotherhood, building wealth, and pursuing excellence, your presence becomes a statement. I am enough. Women feel that energy like heat. They respect it. They crave it. They can't help but be drawn to it. Don't lose yourself in the illusion that attention equals attraction. Real attraction is respect, and respect comes only from strength. Too many men shrink themselves to please others. Stop it. Don't soften your edge. Don't apologize for ambition. Don't make her your mission. Make your mission your magnet. Let her see you move with purpose, unbothered by opinions. That's how you win, with Stoicism win and iron mind discipline. The man who chases loses power. The man who leads earns loyalty. You must command your life like a general commands his army, strategic, focused, unwavering. Women follow leaders, not followers. They admire strength, not desperation. So let's make this clear. Independence is not optional. It's your foundation. Build your body, sharpen your mind, and strengthen your resolve. That's how you cultivate the iron mind. That's how you live with old Stoic wisdom in a modern, chaotic world. Don't be reactive, be deliberate. Don't seek her approval, seek your evolution. Because when you grow into your fullest self, when your energy radiates calm authority and purpose, she'll notice, not because you tried, but because you stopped trying. That's the paradox of attraction. The less you need her, the more she wants you. The more you lead your own life, the more she wants to be part of it. That is victory. That is mastery. That is the essence of being a man who doesn't chase, he attracts. And that, my friend, is how you live by the creed of Stoicism win and rise with an iron mind. And if you feel this truth, comment right now, I am complete with or without her. Like this video, hit subscribe for more powerful psychology insights, and remember, real attraction starts with independence, not approval. 7. Reversing the power dynamic. When you stop chasing, something powerful happens, the entire game flips. Suddenly, she's not the one being pursued, she's the one doing the chasing. It's almost funny how it works. The moment you pull your attention away, she starts to notice that silence. Why isn't he texting me anymore? Why doesn't he look at me like before? That's not confusion, that's curiosity, and curiosity is just attraction wearing a different mask. It's one of those hidden psychology tricks that works because it taps into female psychology itself. When you stop feeding her constant attention, she starts craving it. It's human nature. People want what's slipping away. Here's the truth most men refuse to accept. When you stop giving everything, your value multiplies. You stop being the easy option and start being the prize. You must understand, people never treasure what's handed to them for free. The harder something is to get, the more they respect it, protect it, and want to keep it. That's the essence of attraction. That's how to fall in love actually begins, not with endless compliments or chasing, but with scarcity, mystery, and calm confidence. Be the man who doesn't need to prove his worth every 5 minutes. When you stop over-explaining, stop texting first, stop begging for her attention, something shifts. She starts to invest. She becomes the one who checks her phone wondering where you are. She texts first. She tries to figure you out. She leans forward because now your attention is no longer cheap, it's earned. That's not being manipulative. That's creating balance. For too long, you've been carrying 90% of the effort while she comfortably does 10%. That's not romance. That's exhaustion disguised as devotion. When you pull back, that imbalance starts to correct itself naturally. And here's the twist: the less you do, the more she does. That's how female psychology plays out in real time. When your attention becomes rare, it becomes valuable. When your presence is no longer guaranteed, it becomes magnetic. Women are wired to respond to emotional contrast. They feel more when they have to wonder, when they have to chase a little. That's why psychology tricks like not being too available work so well. They trigger her curiosity, her need to figure you out, to earn what she once took for granted. Don't misunderstand. This isn't about being cold or cruel. It's about being centered, grounded, and self-respecting. Be the man who knows his energy is gold. Be the man who understands that attention is currency, and you don't just hand it out to anyone who smiles your way. When you act like your time and attention are priceless, others start to see them that way too. That's not arrogance. That's self-worth. And women can feel that difference instantly. It changes everything about how they respond to you. So stop overgiving. Stop chasing validation. Stop trying to prove you're enough. You already are. Every time you chase, you tell her you need her approval. Every time you pull back, you remind her you have options, self-control, and purpose. That's the energy that makes her fall in love, not the desperate pursuit, but the calm certainty that you're not afraid to walk away. The secret to how to fall in love isn't about trying harder, it's about trying smarter. It's about letting her curiosity grow while you hold your ground. You must be willing to let silence speak for you. You must be strong enough to let her miss you. You must understand that your value isn't proven through effort, it's revealed through restraint. Remember this: when you stop chasing, she starts searching. When you stop giving, she starts wanting. And when you finally realize your worth, she can't ignore it. That's not a game. That's psychology tricks at their finest. So, be still. Be mysterious. Be the man she can't quite read. Because when your energy stops screaming, "Pick me," she starts whispering, "Why can't I stop thinking about him?" And that, my friend, is the exact moment when the power dynamic shifts forever. 8. True value over effort, the core of attraction. Here's a truth most men avoid because it bruises the ego. Attraction isn't earned through effort. You can't hustle your way into a woman's heart. You can't buy it, talk it into existence, or prove yourself into desirability. Attraction is not a transaction. It's a reflection. It reflects your value, not your effort. Your value as a man doesn't come from how many texts you send, how quickly you respond, or how hard you chase her attention. It comes from who you are when no one's watching. It's found in your energy, your self-respect, your direction. That's what's magnetic. That's what creates attraction. When you live with purpose, when your life already has meaning before she enters it, you exude a confidence that doesn't need an audience. You don't have to say, "Look how great I am." She feels it. It's in your posture, your calmness, the way you move through the world like a man who knows his worth. That, my friend, is the essence of masculine energy. Effort without value is desperation. Let's be real, most men confuse doing more with being more. They chase, they prove, they perform. They believe that if they just show enough interest, she'll finally notice them. But here's the punchline: effort without value looks like desperation. It screams, "Please see me." And nothing kills attraction faster than neediness. Because when you're trying too hard, you reveal that your world revolves around her. And that's not sexy, that's suffocating. Contrast that with value without effort. That's quiet confidence. That's the man who doesn't need to chase because he's already fulfilled. He's not seeking, he's selecting. He doesn't need her validation to feel like a man. He already is one. The unavailable man myth. You've heard women say, "I like guys who are a little hard to get." And you might think it's a game, but it's not. The reason the unavailable man gets her attention isn't because he's playing mind tricks. It's because he's already living a full, meaningful life. He's focused on his goals, his mission, his health. He has direction. He's not ignoring her, he's prioritizing himself. And that's exactly what she finds irresistible. Because here's the paradox: the less you need her, the more she wants you. Why? Because you embody what every woman subconsciously desires: a high value man who's in control of his emotions, not enslaved by them. He's the man who chooses her, not the man who needs her. Stop earning it. Start being it. So here's your wake up call: stop trying to earn attraction through effort. Stop chasing. Stop proving. Stop auditioning for approval that you never needed in the first place. Instead, start becoming. Become the kind of man who walks into a room and doesn't seek attention, he commands it. Become the man who gives his energy wisely, who's intentional about where his time and focus go. Become the man who builds his body, mind, and purpose like a fortress. Because that's what separates boys from men. Be the man who doesn't give attention because he needs to. Give it because he wants to. That's power. That's presence. That's real attraction. When you operate from a place of abundance, when your cup is already full, you stop chasing and start choosing. And that's when women feel your masculine energy. That's when you truly attract women, not with words, not with effort, but with energy. Effort fades. Value endures. So don't just try to be attractive. Be valuable. Be grounded. Be the high-value man who doesn't seek approval, he inspires it. That's the man she can't resist. That's the man who doesn't need to chase love because love naturally finds him. And that, gentleman, is the core of attraction. So remember, attraction isn't about chasing harder, it's about standing stronger. When you stop begging for attention and start focusing on yourself, everything changes. Be confident in your presence, stay focused on your goals, and never lose your value trying to earn someone else's approval. Because when you respect yourself first, the right people will start to respect you too. If this message resonated with you, take a second, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with a friend who needs to hear it. Let's build a community of men who grow stronger, not needier. Thanks for watching, my friend. Stay grounded, stay confident, and keep becoming the man who doesn't have to chase, because now you are the one worth chasing. See you in the next one.